Can you see the screen?
No, I just see your profile picture.
Oh. How about now?
No, it's just your profile picture.
Oh no.
Oh wait, let me see. Try one more time. Yeah, now I can see. Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking at this together. So against Nami in OP16, you should be looking for Laboon in your opening hand because they have the twos. They can kill your Sanji or Usopp, or they have the grab blade trigger that can clear your stuff. So you should be looking for Laboon. I will mulligan this.
Okay.
Okay, good mulligan. So pretty standard here, no such to play. I would just swing 6 here. Yeah. So this is pretty rough with no 7k character to play, but nothing much you can do about it. And they trigger, that's kind of bad. But you can take one swing here because you're missing curve. You desperately need a 7k character here. You can take this swing because they still have a 5k swing behind it, so you cannot counter everything. You should just take this.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. Okay, if you just take this and then counter the 5k swing, you lose 0 cards in hand. So compared to the play you just did, you throw away a 1k counter for nothing. And here, you need some character that can touch Nami's face. So I guess here, it's not great, but I guess you have to play the Zoro here. You need a character that can hit their face. What? That's not good. Are we playing nothing? Well, I guess we're playing nothing.
Okay, so I should have established board there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
I was scared of looking at the 3 swings without leader ability. Or yeah,
No,
I
not
guess it makes you
really,
7K.
because with Zoro, you will become 7k leader, and if they want to develop, they cannot hit 7k. So the effect you get, like defensively, is around the same, but you get a 9k character on board. That's more important.
Okay.
Here, you need to think about your future play here. So here, I'll definitely play Zoro because the Luffy is very good with the Luna, because a play you can do is you can do 4-cost Nami, Luffy, Luna, and then Dawn on Leader. With that play, you freeze their entire board while establishing a 7-cost character, but it has to be played with Luna. So here, playing the Zoro is correct here. I will do the same. And then next turn, you basically don't take damage, so that's good. So here, then playing Robin is good for you because it's 7 cost or lower. So this is Luna target compared to if you play like 8 cost Moria, that's worse for you. So here, their entire board can get frozen. So if you just have a board here, and then you can Luna and start the game because they have nothing else. So Shanks is good here.
I think at this point I realized I couldn't play Luna after playing
Yeah,
Shanks.
you cannot,
I thought it was
but
just
I think
favorite.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Being at 1 life is like also fine. It is okay. I mean, so they have 8 down left. Well, not anymore. I think the Nami is misplayed because if this is the line they're going for, they should swing Robin first to hide their play. But now that you know they are not playing anything meaningful anyway, the Luna in your hand is extremely powerful because you can freeze the whole part basically. I don't think you have to counter this. But countering is also okay. We'll probably throw the Sanji maybe. Oh wait, what? Oh.
I've read that.
Yeah, this is okay. This is okay. This is totally
Yeah.
okay. I mean, it's fine. The Usopp died. Who cares? Okay, they will freeze the Zoro. This is good for you. But since the Usopp died, if you play the Zoro, you will only have 2 Dawn up. Which is probably okay, because with 2 Dawn you can Luna anyway. So at this point of the game, I'm gonna play Zoro probably.
Mm,
But this play is also fine, because if you find a Dawn Restander, like you did right now, it's gonna make your future turns better.
that was the pain.
Mm. Swinging 6 here is quite meaningless. What are you planning to play here?
Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess I wasn't planning on playing it.
Yeah, you're not
Yeah,
playing
I guess I was.
anything, right? So swinging 7 is better, because Nami is like 7 leader.
Yeah.
Not playing the Garp is okay. That way you have more counter in hand. But now we're playing Garp. Okay, here's the thought. So on this turn, you are doing Zoro. I mean, not this turn, last turn, last turn. Last turn is your Luna turn. So on this turn, you're playing Luna, right? So with the Luna, let's say you swing 6 already. Let's say you swing 6 already. And if you play the Garp and the Luna, you're gonna have 3 done up. But then they have no attack that can break through your 3 dawn. They don't even have enough attack to break through 2 dawn. Because to break through 2 dawn, they need to have 4 dawn on leader, meaning they can play a character of 6 cost at most. And those are not meaningful character into you, because it's just not good enough. If it's 6 cost, then like it's probably less than 7k power, meaning it does not break through your Zoro for the next turn. So you could play the Garp here, because there is a few very good target that Garp can pick up. The best one being Luna. And even if you don't find Luna, you're gonna find something like the second Zoro that's gonna help. You're gonna find the 6 cost Brook, which will help you kill them. So there's a lot of good target for Grab here. And there's no better window to play the Grab. Because for next turn, you're probably playing Zoro. And with only 1 Dawn Restander on board, you have 3 Dawn after playing Zoro. Which is like not enough, right? They have 1, 2 character that can break through your leader ability already. So then if you're gonna search, it has to be this turn.
Okay. That sucks.
Oh, you're not playing Zoro here? You're gonna die, no? Okay. Yeah, you're probably dead being 5k leader here. Oh, you're not dead? Oh, they went for board, but that's still bad. Then they will just counter all these, and then we lose. So there's some very important mistake that I don't think anyone would make here. It's pretty fundamental mistake. On 7 Dawn turn, that's the most important turn. So in any matchup, as Red Green Luffy, you want to prioritize building your own board, because your leader ability is a defensive ability, and it's gonna help you win the race, but only defensively. So for you to have some tools to break through their resources, you're gonna need a board. So as Red Green Luffy, you have enough defensive ability already built in your leader. So your first priority is always to establish as big of a board as possible, and then use your leader ability to win the race. So if you don't have a board, while they have a board, uh, you cannot take their resources faster than how they take your resources, even though if you have a like broken leader ability. So you have to establish the board first. That's the main issue here. And then for this Yamato game, oh, so with this hand, you're going second here. Going second against Yamato is okay because your second curve is good. So with this hand, you have the Searcher, you have a 4-cost play, you have a 6-down play. This is okay to keep. Do you keep? I mean, it's also okay to mulligan, it's fine. What are you looking for here when you mulligan?
I guess I was looking for an Usopp or a Sanji.
That's fair, that's fair. Okay, here. Well, when you go second, let's think about what the Yamato will do on the free down turn. So on the free down turn, they have nothing meaningful that they could do except searching. So most likely they will swing 7k, meaning only one dawn is not enough to defend the attack on free dawn. So you can freely play the searcher. So the searcher here is playable. And then what will they do on 5 dawn? So on 5 dawn, there's one thing they want to do that is playing the 4 cost 6k Kin Amon because by playing the Kin Amon, they have a 6k character on board, meaning for every turn in the entire game, they get a 6k swing for free every turn. So that's the top priority. If they miss that, then you're in good position already. So if they play the 4 6k, the maximum they can swing on into you with the leader is 6k. So one dawn would be enough. So with Zoro being your 4 dawn play, you spend 2 dawn, you spend 4 dawn to play Zoro, and then you get back 2 dawn, so you have 2 dawn left, 1 dawn on leader, and you have 1 dawn to use defensively, which will perfectly counter their leader attack. So on 4 dawn, playing Zoro is quite good here, and I would say this curve had your 4 dawn turn and 6 dawn turn covered. So it's a pretty good hand.
Mm.
So it's okay to keep. Now, this hand is also very nice. So yeah, it works out fine for you.
But that's just lucky. I could have got a worse one.
Okay, here. As I said, Yamato has nothing meaningful to do on their free dawn turn. So even if you leave a dawn up, you cannot counter this attack for free. And I've said on last session that it's okay to take the first hit usually because you want more cards in your hand to defend your board. So I will play
I
the
don't think I
Garb
take
here. I
this.
will play the Garb here. Because with Garb, there's a few good stuff that you can find. Like the 6 castable attack Luffy on 6 that you can play with the Zoro. But then if you don't play the Garb here, you don't have a window to play Garb anymore. Like you cannot play Garb this turn if you play the Usopp. So last turn is your like best opportunity to play the Garb and you missed it. Because the Dawn is not relevant there on your second turn. Oh, did you counter the 6? That's good. Oh, you took? Took is also okay. Taking is also okay. So you went for the search here, and then you're probably playing the second Usopp, I'm guessing? Yeah. So this is also okay, but imagine if you went with the Garb on your first turn, you have to find this Luffy here. So on this turn, your play would be play Luffy, play Zoro, and then 1 down on leader with 3 down defensively. So you can counter out of these 2 attack, and then take the 8k swing.
Mm.
And then you would probably not swing the Usopp here because it's gonna die to the 8k swing. But with this play, you can swing the Usopp because they don't have enough to break through your leader ability. So with this play, you can swing the Usopp. So it's still an okay play. So they will go 5, 6, 8, which would be perfectly countered unless they have an but I think they misplayed because they should have used the Yamato ability first, make it a 3k, and then swing these. So the Usopp here is dying 100% if they play it right. Yeah, since they misplayed, but unfortunately you don't have a 2k. If I had a 2k, I would defend this, but we don't, so we have to let this go. Oh, what did we do? Did we do 1k 1k? Hmm. Okay. Uh, as Red Green Luffy, using 1k 1k to defend is usually really bad because, as we said last time, this deck has no inherent way to generate value. So your hand size is gonna stay the same. It's just gonna be that many cards. You don't get extra cards or anything. So when you pitch the 1k 1k, your hand size will go down. And when your hand size go down, you cannot resolve the Child Stone easily. Because for Child Stone to resolve, you're gonna need two cards in hand. One being the Child Stone, another one being the card that you discard. So when your hand size is this small and you're gonna develop your board, right? You'll probably put one card on board and stuff. And if you want to use the Child Stone, you would be forced to discard some important cards because your hand size is too small. So using 1k 1k here is usually not worth it. I would just let the Usopp go.
Okay.
And here so next turn would be their 9 dawn turn. And on their 9 dawn turn, they will have access to the Momo already, the dragon. So then you can expect the hit they're gonna get. So let's say they combo with the 2k, so they can get the Momo out for 7 dawn. So there's gonna be a 6k blocker dragon, a 5k Yamato, and an 8k Yamato that's gonna come out of the 5k Yamato. So you can already calculate how much attack there's gonna be. And it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. So okay, let's figure out what attack they would go. So they have 2 Dawn to work with if they combo. So they would probably put 1 Dawn on the King Ammon, so that's 7k. And then 1 Dawn on the Dragon, the Momo, which is also 7k. So they're gonna go 5k, 5k, 7, 7, 8, 8. And in that case, like you're gonna take probably 2 damage if you don't do Zoro. So you kind of have to play the Zoro here. And then you would not swing the Usopp. Because the Usopp is 5k. You could swing the Zoro into the Kinemon here. Yeah, that's good. Okay, good play, good play. Not resting the Usopp is good. So they would play the Dragon. That's good. So then they did not touch your leader for this turn. But then on this turn, it's quite tricky because they have double blocker up. But this is okay for you because there's like only one play you can do. You could do Luffy, DMG, rest both of the blocker, and then stun both of the blocker, so the blocker cannot block even on the next turn. Oh, you did not DMG?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, no.
Okay, DMG is good here because the game is probably ending in 2 turns. So if you just DMG the double blocker, these 2 blocker are dead until the end of the game, which is 2 turns later. So DMG here is really good value, but pushing here is probably also fine, but you cannot use all the Dawn here because you need some Dawn to resend. Uh, the Luna here is quite bad also. Okay, let's say you DMG, you're gonna DMG the Yamato and the blocker. So the blocker is dead already. And then this Yamato would have one, like, it cannot attack the next turn. So it will make your life easier the next turn with this DMG. But holding on to the DMG is also okay because you get to push bigger. So this is okay. This is okay. Because if you play DMG and the Luna, your hand is gonna be only the 2 Child Stone. But with the play that you did, you have the cards in your hand so that you can throw with the Child Stone. So this is also okay. You can leave the DMG for your lethal turn. They push face, which is surprising. I think they should push for the Usopp. They just counter this. Taking is also okay. So here's just DMG and then a double attack Luffy. The split here, okay, for the split, you're gonna make it difficult for, because essentially this is a 2 attack lethal. You want the first double attack to connect, and then the attack after the double attack to also connect, which is, okay, let's say you have 5k, 5k, 9k as your attack after the double attack. So you're asking for 1k, 1k, 5k, a total of 7k counter already. So you want this Luffy to also ask for 6k or 7k counter. So you're gonna hit, let's say you go 13k. That is not good because then your Luffy is asking for 9k counter, but your attack after is only asking for 7k. So you do not go 13k here. You want to make it similar. So maybe you would go 12k with the Luffy, meaning you're gonna ask for 8k counter with the Luffy, and then we put one Don on like any of these, and then you ask also 8k. So it is 8k requirement, 8k requirement, but that's quite unrealistic. So I would make this Luffy attack 11k. Uh, that way you are asking for 7 attack, 7k counter with the Luffy, and then after that you have 2 Don to work with, so you can go 5, 7, 9, and in that way, you are asking for 1, 2, 3, 8k. So you ask for 7k, 8k. If I did the math right. So let's see what you did here. Just the 9k. I mean, they cannot counter, so it's alright. Okay, so uh, I I think your fundamental on the red green Luffy definitely got better. You're thinking about like how to counter their attack and how much attack they have left. So I think from now I'm gonna get into some more specific matchup since your fundamental is already okay. I'm gonna make a Google Doc. So as red green Luffy, let's go through the weaknesses of the deck. So as red green Luffy, uh you're gonna win against aggro leader, because as aggro, they usually don't have some really big character, and then so their character is gonna be on the smaller size, like 5k to 7k. Those are typically the characters for the aggro deck, and those are very easily countered by your leader ability and the Zora ability. So that's the deck you would win against. And then, well, red green has such a ridiculous leader ability. Like for one Don, you can counter almost any small attack. So the red green has a weaknesses that is a deck with multiple big drops. Now, the example being Ace, typically the red blue Ace, because as soon as there's their 8 Dawn turn, they can put out a 12k character. And red green is especially bad against those really big characters, like 12k characters, because the 12k character is almost always gonna connect. Like their attack is going to connect. Because if you want to counter, you need to spend like 4 Dawn or something. And that's like all of your Dawn. So you cannot counter those attacks usually. And if the big drop is gonna get 1 life or 1 character from you each turn, you're gonna lose eventually. So these are the deck we typically struggle with. So red blue Ace or Mihawk is gonna be the hardest matchup for Red Green Luffy, typically. And then also NL, because NL, it needs an aggro deck, but it does put out a big drop ridiculously fast. They could put out a 6-cost NL on the third turn, which is typically the 5-dawn turn for the other decks. So if a deck can play a 10k character on their 5-dawn turn, it's gonna be a bad matchup for Red Green Luffy. So, which is why we have this 4 Luna build, because the Luna is gonna stun their 6-cost and now, so we get some extra turn and then we can win the race. That's the way we get around it. But in OP15, Red Green Luffy has no tools to get rid of the typical big drop, like the 9-cost Mihawk or the 10-cost New Gate. But with the starter deck, things changed, because now we have the 7-cost Nika, which can minus 7k at most to get rid of big drops. Now, this is similar to Red Green Luffy back in OP, uh, back in EB04, I believe. I mean, was that? Okay, before the rotation, let's just talk about it like that. Because before the rotation, there's an event card called Round Table. Have you heard of that card? So this card, this is a 4-cost event that would give one of the character minus 10k for this turn. So this is our preferred way of getting rid of big stuff, but we lost it, unfortunately, due to the rotation. So Red Green Luffy can counter out small attacks, so it's not afraid of the mid-sized character, but for the big drop, it really struggles, and they really had to take out those big drop with some tools, but we lost it. So in OP15, we have no way of dealing with the big drops, which means the Mihawk matchup is really bad. But with the starter deck, we have the Nika as our best tool to get rid of the big drops. So now we do have. Oh, your mic is out. I saw it just now. Okay, yeah. We do have a tool to get rid of big drops now, and we also have the stage, which means we get our leader ability on time. So like we can win the race against aggro deck, and we can also take out the big characters that they have with the 7-cost Nika, which is a really good tempo swing. Because in the One Piece card game, usually, one player will play a character, and then next turn the other player will play another character, and it's just typically how the game would go. And when I talk about tempo swing, this is the really big turns where the tempo shifts completely. Typically, you get 2 turns worth of job done in 1 turn. So typically, you'll be developing 1 character at a turn, but with a tempo swing, uh, uh, the most common one is Purple and Now. This is a deck with massive tempo swing because it can kill character while developing their own. So say for example, they could go 4-cost, whatever, Rachel or Frankie, and then they go Gamma Knife, and then maybe Elthor, maybe Mamaragan, and then they will basically kill one of the character while their board go up by 1 character. So the difference in character before and after the turn is gonna be 2, which is double the amount of like how you would normally play the turn. You would play 1 character. So uh if you are a deck without massive tempo swing, like the Black Yamato, you're just gonna play fair and square. So you're gonna play something on 4 on turn, something on 6, something on 8, something on 10, and that's it. That's it. And if you miss any of those turns, you are massively behind with no way to catch up. But if you are a deck with tempo swing, then you could catch up even if you missed something because your swing turn is too good. So typically the top deck in the meta is gonna be a deck with a tempo swing. That goes the same with purple, yellow, rosy. It's also a deck with massive tempo swing because in the Saka turn, they could go Saka and then some amount of law and then kill one character. So on this turn, they have two new characters on board while they get rid of one of their opponent's character. So this is a massive, massive tempo swing, which is exactly why Rosie is super good in this meta, because even if they missed out on some earlier turns, like they missed curve, they can catch up somehow. But for a deck that is fair, a deck that would play on curve, you don't get those massive swing turn. And if you miss curve, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose.
Oh,
So yeah. So
oh no.
that is the case for Red Green Luffy actually, because Red Green Luffy is just a very fair deck that would play some efficient characters. But if you missed your, let's say on 5 dawn you don't have Sanji, or on 6 dawn you don't have a 7k character, you're gonna be behind for the whole game with no way of catching up except maybe Luna. But Luna is only good against specific decks. So before, Red Green Luffy don't have a swing turn, meaning it cannot swing back the game if you fall behind. But with the 7 cost Nika, let's go through what the Nika does. It's gonna kill a rested character. I say kill, but it's minus 7k attack, but that's basically the same thing because they cannot defend it. And then you're gonna have a 9k character on board. And then you can swing 9k for free. So this is all the 7 cost Nika does. So it does 3 things at once because normally character, when they hit the board, they cannot attack. But 7 cost Nika, since it has the rush, it can attack. It's a 9k character, which is as good as 7 cost character gets. And then it will kill a character. So this is a massive swing turn for the Red Green Luffy. And so in short, after the starter deck, Red Green Luffy is gonna be a deck with that is very consistent. And when it gets going, let's say you have 2 down you have stage and 4 down you have Usopp, and after that you don't miss curve, you can win the race really consistently. And then with the 7 cost Nika, you can swing the tempo into you like completely. So I do believe Red Green Luffy is better in format material for the next set. But then there's just some problematic matchup for you to worry about. So previously I talked about the Mihawk being bad matchup, but with the 7 cost Nika not anymore, because in OP15, the way Mihawk is gonna win is they will play 9 cost Mihawk into my 9 cost Mihawk. So in that way, they have a 10k on board, they can swing each turn, and then they will stun 2 of your characters. Now, with 2 of your biggest characters stunned, which is probably your Zoro, you're not gonna have any 9k attacks. And then since you don't have any 9k attacks, and then they still have the 10 cost Lob Apple, they're gonna stun 3 of your biggest characters while their stuff can swing freely. And one thing they could do is also to like 9 cost Mihawk, stun 2 of your biggest character, and then maybe 5 cost Perona to stun the other character as well. So there's nothing on your board that can swing. So that is a huge problem because as long as 9 cost Mihawk is on the board, it generates massive value, and Red Green has no way of getting rid of the tall characters. But after 7 cost Nika is different because once they have their first 9 cost Mihawk, we're gonna kill it back with the 7 cost Nika. And in that exchange, the 9 cost Mihawk has not attacked yet, but the Nika is gonna kill it for free while getting a 9k attack. So with the new Nika, Mihawk is no longer bad matchup. So let's go through the bad matchup that we have left, which is gonna be another weakness of the red green Luffy. So I talked about how big drop is one of the weaknesses of red green Luffy, but there's a second one that is removal decks. Because as red green Luffy, for your leader ability to work properly, you need some character on board that can withstand your dawn. If you don't have those character, then your leader ability is weak because nobody wants to skip that curve just to play some weaker character. Like maybe on 10 Dawn, you're gonna want to play some high cost character. But if you want to leave 5 Dawn up and then have 1 Dawn on leader, like even if you have the stage, at most you're gonna play a 5 cost. And that's just not good enough. So you need the Dawn Restand character for you to get value out of your leader ability. And the thing removal deck does is that they will remove your board. And that's really bad for you. So, but that problem got solved by one cost Laboon. This is a really, really good addition to the deck, and it's like the only reason Red Green is as good as he was in OP15, because with the addition of one cost Laboon, it no longer scare the removal decks. I mean, typical removal decks, like they will remove your character through the effect, not through battle. Now, so in those matchups, you're gonna hard mulligan for one cost Laboon, always. But there's still some other removal deck that will remove your board using battle, and that is just 6 cost NL. Purple NL, not 6 cost NL. So purple NL. They will remove your board through battle. And they can also kill Laboon with Mamaragan for free. So uh I a lot of people has the misconception that purple and now is good matchup for red green Luffy, and that's just wrong. I think the matchup is like 50-50 at best. But I mean, if the NL knows the game, which is a tall ask, because a lot of the purple NL probably doesn't practice against red green Luffy enough, and they're gonna misplay at some point. But against good NL player, it's like 50-50 in OP15. Because it's gonna remove all your Dawn Restander. And then when you don't have your Dawn Restander, you just don't have enough Dawn to defend yourself, and you also don't have enough pressure. Red Green Luffy with an empty board is the worst. It's not a deck. It's not a deck. You have to have a board, which is why we have the 10 cost Shanks. So what the 10 cost Shanks does is it will establish a 12k body even if you have empty board, which is really huge because against NL, they will try their very best to clear your entire board. So a lot of the time against good NL, your board is going to be empty. So when you have an empty board, the best thing that you could do is to play a 12k, a 10 cost 12k Shanks. Because a lot of the character in Red Green Luffy, like the 7 cost Zoro, require you to have some Dawn Restander to work. So say for example, you play the 7 cost Zoro. If you don't have the Dawn Restander, you're gonna have 2 Dawn Max. And you are just not that great defensively. But with the 10 cost Shanks, you can play a 12k character and then use 5 Dawn to attack, and then still have 5 Dawn for your defensive ability, which is why it's really good into the NL. And then, so 10 cost Shanks is really good when you have an empty board. Now, on OP 16.5, like after the starter deck come out, obviously the Shanks is still going to be powerful, but I do think we got some really nice replacement for Shanks. Because I mean not exactly replacement, but like other stuff you could go for. Say for example, because we have the stage now. So before the starter deck, for us to utilize our leader ability, we need to have Dawn on leader. So there's a cap on how much Dawn we can leave up on each turn. Say, for example, on 5 Dawn, we can play Sanji. And without the stage, uh, you're gonna play the Sanji, restand 2 Dawn, put 1 Dawn on leader, end of turn, you restand 1 Dawn, so you have 2 Dawn up, right? So with 2 Dawn up, uh, a thing they could do is because they don't have the first NL yet. So a thing they could do is they could play their NL and then they can use Kit 10 Mamaragan to rest the Sanji and then swing 9k into the Sanji with the 5 cost that they have played. And to counter out of that, you would need 3 Dawn for it. Or you should use 2 Dawn with a card. But then they still have the leader swing, so you need 2 Dawn and 2 cards to defend that. But with the stage, you can have 3 Dawn up. With stage, you have 3 Dawn up. So with 3 Dawn up, you can basically counter anything they go for if they play the NL. And if they don't play the NL, that's also okay for you because those characters are typically easier to remove. So with the stage, your character will survive very, very often. So you would be able to keep a board more often than you did in OP15. So I think with the stage, if you can hit your curve, you're gonna keep a board against even and now. And when you have a board already, you can play the character that require you to have a good board, like the 7 cost Zoro, like the 7 cost Nika, which is why I removed the 10 cost Shanks in the like after starter deck. I will remove the 10 cost Shanks. And then you might also notice that I removed Luna. The reason why we remove Luna is because first of all we don't have the space for it because in after starter deck stage is your most important card in the entire deck. With the stage you would have 1 Dawn to use freely on each turn. So basically with the stage you're getting 2k counter worth every single turn. So every turn the stage will generate you 1 card. That's how broken the stage is. Like imagine a stage that's gonna read you draw 2k each turn for the rest of your game. That's like broken, right? That's what the stage is in Red Green Luffy. So in the new Red Green Luffy, I firmly believe that 16 such is correct. That would be the 1 cost Nami, 8 of them, 8 Nami, and then 4 Bonnie, and then 4 stage. Now these are all the searchers that can search for the stage with counter. So this has to be in the deck. Now there's also a 1 cost event. Uh, that no, that's not it. It's like let's no, it's the event with the law on it. It's a
Oh,
1
that's
cost
Shambleborn?
event that will search for 4 cards with a supernova tag or straw hat tag. That's the card. But that card is a counterless card. It's a 1 cost event, which I don't think it belongs in the deck because for these searches, even if you are not using it, it's not stuck in your hand. You can use them as 1k counter. And then the 2k body is also important because later in the game you're gonna go minus 7k on like some characters, and then your searcher can actually swing into them. So the searcher has value, while the event I don't think is that good. So this is the searcher I would have to find the broken stage. So I'm gonna send you the OP16 deck list and then just briefly go over it. Let me just get on my phone. That's the first list I will send you. Okay, so from this list, you could notice that I didn't run full Nika and full 6-cost Luffy, but that's to be debated. The core of the deck is all the searcher that can search for the stage, meaning the 8 Nami, and then all the core of the deck, which is the Dawn Standard like Sanji and Usopp. And then there's the Laboon, because Laboon is your key card against removal deck. So that's basically the deck list. And that would basically cover everything. Now, this is a generically good deck list. Now, back to why we removed Luna. One of the reasons is that we don't have enough space. Because as you can see, like every single card in the deck has its purpose. So say for example, you can see the double DMG. Normally, we will only need one DMG, but double DMG is just, I mean, okay, so DMG is generically your best card when you're going for lethal. Resting 2 thing for 4 dawn is just extremely good. And there's a situation where you need double DMG very often. Like, say for example, the mirror match. So in the mirror match, the main way you defend your opponent's final push is by Charleston. And with Charleston, you're paying 2 dawn to get back 3 dawn. So that's like a 6k counter with the cost of 2 cards. But since the red green Luffy require you have a 5 or less dawn for you to like have your leader ability, you're gonna have 5 dawn up. But if you play double DMG, meaning you rest 4 of the dawn and the mirror, they cannot use Charleston anymore. So the 1 dawn they have left is all they had to defend your lethal push. And in the mirror, oftentimes, if you get double DMG off, you're just gonna win the game. And so if there is a situation where you want 2 DMG, and DMG is like a generically good card that you want to see one every single game, and it's not a break in your hand because you can use it for 3k, I think 2 off is pretty correct here. So that isn't going anywhere. The 4 Charleston isn't going anywhere because it's just the best card. 2 card for free, for 6k. No. The Nami and the Searcher and the Laboon we've talked about already. Now, this Sanji 2k can be cut, but it is a 2k, so it's gonna be helpful sometimes. And it will win you game on some occasion, like they are at 0 life and you have like a 9k straw hat. So that's gonna win you some game. So I think one Sanji has to be correct here. This 4-cost Nami, I thought about cutting her, but as we talked, you know that Algae has no way of removing standing characters because the 7-cost Luffy will remove rested character, but for standing character, there's no way to remove it as Algae. And there's one deck in the meta where if you don't kill the standing character, you're gonna die. And that deck is blue-green Luffy. So blue-green Luffy, something they would do is they would just leave every single character standing. So they will have 5 characters with different name, and then they will play the restand event and then attack a total of 12 times. That is crazy work. No deck, almost no deck, can defend a lethal push with 12 attacks. So if they get that off, you're probably dead. So to prevent that, you need to probably play. You will establish a board and then probably play Nami each turn to clear like 1 to 2 of the characters so that they cannot do the restand event, and then you win the game. So without the Nami, your blue-green matchup got significantly worse. So I think the Nami staying as a 4-off is just good card in general. Usopp Sanji, your best character, not gonna talk about it. Without the restander, it just doesn't work. This Luffy, it is debatable on like how much you want to run it, because after the starter deck, there is like in the late game, oftentimes your best play would be either the Nika or the Zoro. And both of them require you to have a Dawn Restander on the field. So say for example, on uh on 6 Dawn, obviously it's good if you can play Luffy plus Usopp, but even if you just play as Sanji, it's okay. And on 7 Dawn, your best play is gonna be Sanji plus Usopp on 7 Dawn. And there's nothing to do with Luffy. Because you need the Dawn Restander. Like with the 7 cost Nika, you ideally you want to have a total of a Restander that can resend a total of 5 Dawn. So you can never have too many Restander is what I meant. So like this Luffy is good on exactly 6 Dawn turn and nowhere else. You basically always want to prioritize the Sanji and the Usopp. So I think you could like not run the Luffy as a 4-off and then maybe make space for other cards. And then we'll talk about the Zoro first. Now, the 7 cost Zoro is obviously your best card against a wide board, and it's just extremely impactful character. Like, think about it. It's a 7 cost 9k that can attack on the turn it entered the field, and will pump up your leader for 2k, meaning for each attack your opponent do, you have a free 2k counter. So let's say they have 5 attack, like pumping up your leader is gonna generate 10k counter. That's crazy. And you also get to attack with that power. So 7 cost Zoro, super broken character, must be a 4-off. And then this broke is quite funny now that we have the starter deck. Because for broke, if you are if you're playing broke in your lethal turn, the broke is okay, but it's not much better than DMG. I mean, in some scenario, it's better than DMG, but in most scenario, it's gonna be around the same. Where Brook really shines is if you have the chance to develop the Brook a turn before your lethal turn. So basically, you're parking the Brook and then use it for later, because in that way, instead of like if you play the Brook on your lethal turn, you have 4 down left to work with. And even if you can swing one of the character for 2 times, you can only put like 4 down on it. But if you play the Brook on the previous turn, the turn after, you're gonna have 10 down to work with. And with 10 down to work with, you can do some crazy lethal. Like you can split your down anywhere and then attack with one of the characters for 2 times. Or you could go like DMG and then still have 6 down to work with and a restand. So basically, if the Brook is on board, your lethal turn is gonna be super crazy. And against some deck, parking the Brook could be your main way to win. Like against maybe Red Blue Ace. So with Red Blue Ace, you're gonna get some crazy lethal against them, and it has to be as soon as possible because when you let them chain their 10 cost and their base of event, it will be extremely hard for you to kill them. But the deck do have weaknesses. That is, they have free life, and they will never have more than 3 life, and they would probably take down to 2 life at some point of the game. So if you just had, let's say they are at 1 life already, and you have the Brook on the board, the stuff you could do is you can put 10 down on like a 9k, and you could go 19k, 19k. And that's like your main way of winning. So parking the Brook is extremely good against leader with low health. So I think the Brook does go in the deck. Uh, there's an argument to pump up the Brook to 2, but I actually don't think there's much scenario where you need more than 1 Brook. So the Brook count is at 1 right now, but that can change. And for the 7 cost Nika, uh, we've talked about it before. It's your main way of getting rid of big characters. So it's gonna stay as a 3-off probably. 2-off is probably okay, but it's just a good card in general because as Red Green Luffy, before the Nika, we don't have a rush character, meaning we cannot really accelerate the game much if we wanted to. But with the 7 cost Nika, like let's say you have a bunch of Dawn Standard already, but you don't have like much attack. Like when you have like double Usopp on board, but you miss the Sanji or the Luffy, then the 7 cost Nika is going to be extremely important to speed up the game. Because with only 5k attack with the Usopp and your leader, it's just not going to be fast enough. But this Nika can attack the turn is played. So basically, you got one more 9k attack for free, and that will accelerate the game for one turn. Because in the One Piece card game, typically, people are only taking one life each turn. Like if they are taking two life each turn, then the game is on it. The game is gonna end like faster than they want it to. So with the 7 cost Nika is a very important tool to speed up the game when you have like a slow start, like you have multiple Usopp and no 7k. So I think this is at least a 3 off. There's an argument to put it at 4 off. And as you can see, like the flex spot in this deck is probably only the 6 cost Luffy and the Nika. And if you want to cut anything other than that, like if you cut the searcher, it's gonna hurt the consistency. If you cut the Sanji, it will also hurt the consistency because you don't like as consistently have the 2k in hand. And you also lose a way to win like in situation where your opponent is still rival. So cutting anything else would hurt the deck, which is why we cut the Luna. Because the Luna is only good against specific deck and is completely useless against some decks. Now, you may have noticed that in this deck list, there is no way to there's no way to filter our hand except for the Charlestone. So if you draw a break, it's gonna be stuck in your hand the whole time until you can use it. So with the Luna is completely useless in some matchup. Like if let's say there's a ace player that knows the match, so they will not play the 7 cost Zoro, they will just keep spending 10 cost. Luna is useless against ace. And say for example against Yamato, because Yamato, they will have a whole board of 8 cost or 9 cost characters. So Luna is also useless there. And let's say against Teach. So against Teach, the only thing you could stun is the 6 cost schedule and nothing else. I mean, and the Burgess, of course, but it's just not that good when they have like 8 cost and the 10 cost. So Luna is useless in certain matchup, and it's just not worth cutting anything that is already in the deck for Luna, which is why we cut Luna. But there's situation where we want Luna because Luna is extremely good against exactly one deck. And that deck is PY Rosie. So if you expect a lot of Rosie, you can play Luna. And other than that, don't play Luna.
Okay.
So yeah, that's basically the deck list for after the starter deck. And I believe it would not like change that much because this deck list is as good as it gets already. So yeah, you want to utilize your stage, you have your Dawn Standard, and then you have ways to remove big drop. It's as good as it gets. So if you have friends, you can probably start practicing with this specific build because with the new build, it will play quite differently from the OP15 uh like it will play quite differently from the OP15 list. Because say for example, let's talk about some new line you could do. So on four you can have Usopp with Dawn. On 5 you have Sanji and Free Dawn. On 6 you could do a 6 cost Luffy plus 4 cost Usopp with Dawn. And then on 7 you could do Sanji plus Usopp with Dawn. Those are all the new line you can do. And then it is all extremely strong. And I'm still trying to figure out if there's like any bad matchup except Teach in 16.5, and I have not found any. So for this deck, as long as you dodge Teach, it's gonna be okay. And I'm still searching for a way for us to like teach some amount of time, and I'm gonna figure out like how much sacrifice we'll have to do to beat teach. That's something I'm still working on. So I don't have an idea on how to beat teach yet, but it will probably involve killing their characters because teach is typically weak to removal. Teach is a deck that would play one card at a turn. So if you can remove the character, you're gonna be good into teach. But for us to do that, we need to sacrifice like some stuff in our deck building process, and I'm not sure if I can take the risk. It would probably just be best to completely give up the teach matchup and then focus on the other matchup, which is how I did like in the previous format, like with Bonnie and stuff. Uh, so yeah, any questions?
No, I don't think I have any questions for today.
All right, I'll see you next time. So for your play, just focus on building your board first. That is the one thing. If there's one thing you need to take away with this session, that is you always want to establish your board first before anything. Your life doesn't matter, nothing matters. Your board matters the most in the early game. You're gonna be fine. If you okay, so for Red Green Luffy, taking some life early is fine. You could take as low as one life because as long as you have one life, you're not taking a 15k gem. So as long as you have one life, you're fine. If you have to like sacrifice your life to build abroad, like how you did with your like on your 7 Dawn, if you play Zoro, you have no Dawn on leader, but that's still worth it because you can take down to as low as one life. If you have your board, you're gonna be fine. So yeah, just remember that.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.